Camellia, Cassandre Mateo, Rim Smash! Hi everybody, this is Jessie Anime, and today we're going to be talking about ReZero episode 8 of season 2. Now I'm just going to warn you ahead of time that there will be spoilers, obviously, because this is an in-depth discussion and review of the episode. So if you don't want spoilers, then pause the video, go watch the episode, and come back. So, this episode was insane. It was the most intense thing. Oh my god, like I'm traumatized. Okay, so it ended with Subaru, Otto, and Ram going to leave the sanctuary to get Subaru out of this prisoner situation. And we know that Garfield was upset and coming after them. And Ram suggested that he talk to Roswaal if he had any questions and help, and so he did. And he asked Roswaal if Beatrice was a part of the witches' cult, and Roswaal said no, that the book that she has is not a witches cultist gospel, but it's a book that tells the future. Now, I'm really suspicious of Roswaal and Beatrice, so I don't know how much we can actually trust him with that, but it would be interesting. And he basically said to get Beatrice to help him, he needs to ask Beatrice a question and then answer, I am that person. And there was a theory on Reddit, and I totally agree, that Subaru, that Beatrice knows that there's a person who can return by death, because that's what her future book tells her. And if she says, I am that person, then Beatrice will be able to know, without him directly saying it, that he can return by death. And people think that that Roswaal must know this, but not be able to say it, because obviously when you say it, things go badly. And so he's basically subtly telling him how to get the point across to Beatrice. Again, I don't really trust him, but we'll see. Maybe it'll turn out that he's been helping Subaru all along. Who knows? Or he's doing this for the whatever witch's agenda. Maybe Satella's agenda. Who knows? Anyways, so he leaves and they're on their way, and Otto, being best boy, gets the villagers help because they're running away from Garfield, and they get the villagers to help them defend against Garfield so that Subaru can get away. Well, things don't go very well, and Garfield ends up killing Otto, which is horrifying, killing Patrash, the little ostrich thing that is like, you know, best girl, and killing basically everybody. And then all of a sudden the necklace that Subaru has, that I think Frederica gave him, I can't remember exactly, so many things are happening. The necklace basically teleports him to back to the sanctuary, the cell that he was in before, and he goes outside and it's snowing and everybody is gone. Now, I think that he obviously teleported to the future where everyone died, because the villagers' stuff is still there, but none of them are there. So I think they all died, and he was teleported that far in the future. Then he sees this bunny, and he makes the mistake of touching that bunny, and he loses his arm and his leg, and then a bunch of bunnies come, and I now know why Anya and Buffy hates bunnies. Bunnies! Bunnies, it must be bunnies! Because that was the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. Those bunnies ripping him to shreds. It was literally the goriest thing that I've ever seen in ReZero. And that's saying a lot, because last season was insane with the amount of gory deaths, but this takes the cake. And apparently in the visual novel, or the light novel, whatever, the death is a lot slower and more torturous. I'm glad they didn't do that, because I'm already traumatized watching that. It was the most uncomfortable thing. It was horrible. Like, legit horrible. Like, I'm going to be thinking about that for a while. A lot of people are making, you know, Monty Python and the Holy Grail references with the, you know, scary, evil, monstrous bunnies. So I don't know why the bunnies are there, but anyways, he dies and he returns again to the same place he's been returning this whole season, which is right after the first trial, next to Amelia. I, for some reason in my head, always thought that he just repeated that specific day if he died. But obviously if he was sent to the future and he died and he still ended up in the same place, it's different than I thought it was, and it's always going to be a very specific place. Maybe it's a specific place that Satella sends him, since she is the one who cursed him, or it's just the last place before he fucked everything up. Who knows? I don't know. But anyways, he wakes up and he starts banging his head because his soul is literally deteriorating because he's been through so much trauma and can't handle it. And I really kind of like that metaphor for trauma, and how when you go through traumatic situations, it's almost like your soul is deteriorating and you can't ever come back from it. But then Echidna relieves him and he goes to her little tea place, hillside thing. And the scene was so emotional. It was so beautifully done. The voice actor for Subaru did an incredible job. Basically, he tells Echidna that he can return by death and nothing bad happens. And it's like a relief because he's been so alone in this, because he's never allowed to tell anyone, because whenever he does, he gets hurt and the people he loves get hurt. But with her, for some reason, he can say it. Maybe because she's not actually alive anymore. But he feels so relieved that he says, I can return by death, I can return by death, I can return by death, over and over and over again. And he cries, and basically Echidna is like, you're not alone anymore, you can tell me, I want to know everything. And it's just like this huge relief for him, because he can finally talk about it and not be alone in his pain. And what's really interesting is it's obvious that she is being selfish and manipulative, but it really is true to real life sometimes that, you know, people take advantage of your trauma and your vulnerability and use that for their own gain, and the people who are traumatized believe them and cling to them because they're so desperate for people to talk to, and that's definitely what she's doing. And I also, the fact that she kind of implied that his sloth factor that he now has inherited since killing Betelgeuse is going to help him survive and not have his soul crumble no matter how much traumatic shit he goes through. But anyways, it was really emotional. This was a killer episode, like honestly incredible episode, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. But that's it. I will see you on Saturday with my anime monthly favorites. Bye!